Howdy, tubers and footers. How's everybody doing today? We have another Iron Dog race day going on as the teams head up the coast, and our expedition class heads into Nome. So let's take a look and see where they're at right now, shall we? Let me just share my screen and give me just a moment. Hope everybody's doing good today on this beautiful Sunday. Pow, 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 pow. All right. Here we go. Let's look at our tracker. So, as you can see, all of our teams are in our northwest section of the state. So, let's zoom in and see where they're at. Take a quicker looky here. So, as you can see, Randy Bedard has made it into Nome. Bravo. Team 51. Good job. Let's see here. As you can see, there's other teams in Nome. Let me move this over. Boom. Joe and I will be there on Tuesday. All right, so we've got Team 50 and Team 51 are in Nome. All right. We've got 84 heading in. Team 60, 63, 99, and 60 are out of White Mountain headed into Nome. It looks like we've got Team 55 heading to White Mountain. And we've got, let's see here, Team 80 on their way to White Mountain. All right, and all right, here we go. Team 78. All right, and we've got the expedition class. Now, I thought they were already into Nome, but I could be wrong. All right, so here is Team 57. They are showing heading up along the coast. Out of Shaktoolik. All right, so our leaders are already on the way up doing the loop. So they're already in the Kotzebue loop. Look at that. Bravo. We've got Team 14 up behind them. Team 41 is in there. Team 2 right on. So let's move out. Oops. See where everybody else is. 31 heading up towards Buckland. 23 heading to Buckland. Team 20 heading to Buckland. Team 8 just out of Koyuk. And Team 49 out of Koyuk. And then we have team 16. Looks like they are in Shaktoolik. And team 28. Awesome. We've got team 3 out of Unalakleet on the way to Shaktoolik. And we've got team 30 in Unalakleet. Team 11 heading to Unalakleet. Team 51 looks like they are in Galena. All right. So let's check the leaderboard here. So as of 1:15 p.m., we have Team 7 in the lead. Way to go. Ackelstad and Olstad are checked out of Koyuk with a course time of 18 hours, 26 minutes, and 46 seconds, with course mile 861 miles on the books, with an average speed of 46.68 miles an hour. Now, keep in mind, these checkers have to bring in the race teams and deal with the race teams and do all that, and they can't really update quickly or write, live while they're doing their checking part. So you got to be patient with the standings. As you can see, the standings in the GPS are a bit off. So they have in second place Team 14, Boylan and Leslie, and they have them checked out of Koyuk with a course mile of 861. So their average speed is 45.68 miles an hour with a course time of 18 hours, 50 minutes, and 51 seconds. And in third place, we have Team 39, Barbara Lapham. And they have an average speed of 45.30 miles an hour, and they are checked out of Koyuk going north. The fourth place team is Team 2, Kishba Sodasanti, and they are checked out of Koyuk with an average speed of 43.23 miles an hour, with a course mile of 861 miles on the books, and a course time of 19 hours, 54 minutes, and 55 seconds. Our fifth place team, Team 49, Palin Van Wingerden, and they have a course time of 20 hours, 57 minutes, 47 seconds, with a course mile of 861 miles, with an average speed of 41.07 miles per hour, and they have checked out of Koyuk heading north. So as you can see, most of the teams are heading up north. Way to go. Way to go. Here's the ladies team. Here, they're currently in 15th place. Team 16, they have them on a 10-hour layover in Unalakleet heading north with a course time of 27 hours, 11 minutes, 41 seconds, with course mile 758 miles on the books, with an average speed of 27.87 miles an hour. So good on them. And our last place team, it looks like, oh wow, it looks like there's only 16 teams in the race right now. And right behind the ladies, we've got Cobalt Wagner, Team 11, with a course time of 30 hours, 21 minutes, 57 seconds, checked out of Caltag heading north, with a course mile of 673 miles on the books, with an average speed of 22.16 miles an hour. And we are going to list our scratches. We have Team 30, Elder Worley, has scratched out after Unalakleet heading north, with a course mile of 758 miles on the books, with an average speed of 31.75 miles an hour and a course time of 23 hours, 52 minutes, and 35 seconds. That is a bummer. Let's take a look at Team 30 here. Here we are. Blake and Cody. And they are both from Wasilla, Alaska. That is a shame. Sorry to hear that. Team 30 has scratched. Next on the list for the scratches in the 2023 Iron Dog as of today is Team 4, Baldwin Williamson. They have scratched out after Galena, heading north with a course time of 19 hours, 42 minutes, and 40 seconds, with a course mile of 587 miles, with their average speed of 29.78 miles an hour. Let's take a look at Team 4. All right. And this is our Norvik team. That's a bummer. Really cool guys. Sorry to hear that. There's a lot that goes into the race, so a scratch is brutal. But that just goes to show you how brutal this race is. And next on the list of our scratches is Team 10, Morgan and Olds. They have scratched out of Galena, heading north with a course time of 21 hours and 27 minutes. Their course mile of 587 miles on the books, with an average speed of 27.37 miles an hour. And there you go. Mike Morgan and Chris Olds, Team 10. Next on our list of scratches. This all breaks all of our hearts, tubers and footers. This was the first team for us to interview right before the race. And that is Team 13, Bauer and Dahl. They have a course time of 23 hours and 48 minutes. And they have scratched out after Galena, heading north, with a course mile of 587 miles on the books, with an average speed of 24.66 miles an hour. And here is our team, Leah and Jacob. Team 13. Such a bummer. And they are out of state. So the logistics for them to get their sleds up here, train, and all of that is just brutal, to have it come to an end like this. And for it to be equipment failure is part of the Iron Dog, but it is still a painful part of the Iron Dog. And it just bums me out. I'm just so bummed to hear that. And next on our list of our scratches is Team 12, Collins and Wicken, with a course time of 10 hours and 59 minutes. They have scratched out in McGrath, heading north, with a course mile of 339 miles, with an average speed of 30.86 miles an hour. And that is Team 12. Here we go. Christopher Collins and Douglas Wicken. That's a bummer. That's a Team CC team. Great guys. That's such a shame. And Next on the list is Team 44, Ferrarier. I'm probably destroying their names. In Ferraria. I think this is a father-son team, Team 44, with a course time of 20 hours, 36 minutes. They scratched out of McGrath, heading north. Course mile 339 on the books, with an average speed of 16.46 miles an hour. And that is Team 44. And this is our Kotzebue team. What a bummer. Riding Arctic Cat, Frank and Malachi. Yeah, we talked to those guys at the tech inspection. Really nice group. Father-son team. What a bummer. Next is Team 37, Fosty Hildebrand, with a course time of 23 hours and 46 minutes. They have scratched out after McGrath, heading north, with a course mile of 339 miles, with an average speed of 14.26 miles an hour. Oy. It's hard after all the time and preparation put into this race to scratch. So we've got Mark Fosty and Ben Hildebrand. Where are they from? Oh, that's our Canada team. That's even, sorry to hear that. Again, the logistics for getting sleds here and training and all that goes into it. It's just so devastating. Sorry to hear that, guys. Next on our list is Team 21, scratched Brewer Crandall, scratched out of after Puntilla, heading north, with a course time of 8 hours and 21 minutes, with a course mile of 148 miles on the books, with an average speed of 17.72 miles an hour. All right, and that's a bummer. That's another Team CC team. Here's Duncan Brewer and Cole Crandall. Really cool guys. We got their autographs too. Sorry to hear that, guys. Where are they out of? They're out of Kenai. Oh, down south in the southern part of Alaska. Okay, and we have next on the list of the scratches so far for the 2023 Iron Dog is Team 33, Hensley and Lambert, with a course time of 1 hour and 30 minutes and 47 seconds. And they have scratched out of Squetna, heading north, with a course mile of 80 miles and an average speed of 52.87 miles per hour. And that is Team 33. Let's see here. And they are out of Kotzebue. Oh, that's a shame. There we go. Michael Hensley and George Lambert out of Kotzebue. That is a shame. That is a real bummer to hear that. Scratches always bum me out. But it is a part of the Iron Dog. So hopefully, let me just pull this away for a minute and check in with everybody. Oh, hey there. Good to see you. Let's see who has checked in. Hi, Gary Spike Sr. Good to see you. Good to see you, Pyromedic. Thanks for joining. Amy Speaks Jesus, Art and Nature. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Jean Hudson. Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well. All right. Oh, Pyromedic has a question. Do they check to see what the sled's top speed is before they start, or is it not regulated? No, top speeds are not regulated. They can go as fast as they can or as slow as they need to go. And that's part of the race. So during the river and all of that kind of stuff, they're going to be pushing those sleds to the max speeds. So there's no regulation on these sleds. They can go as fast as they can go, and that's what makes this race really exciting. Good question, Pyromedic. You have some really good questions. Jean Hudson. Was she the only one we seen that was on their third try? I think third try. This was Leah's second try. This is Ashley Wood's third try. That is Ashley Wood is running on Team 16 with Hillary for the women's team. This is her third attempt. And there have been other women. Jana Pevin. She did 3 times and got her veteran Iron Dogger status. So first time was with a women's team with Tammy Barber, and then the second and third time was with another race partner, another male. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, when I have the stats page up, I can't see chat. That's kind of a bummer. Hi, Rexhan. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Must be some mechanical failure to have a difference of 30 mile per hour. Not necessarily the deep snow. If there are teams that are having to break trail, they're going to have slower times and things like that, and definitely a mile per hour difference. And then as you get further back into the trail, those teams that have to go through the beat up trail, that may take them a little bit longer as well. So there's different reasons why their speed will fluctuate so much. But again, keep in mind, these are average speeds. These are not their top speeds or minimum speeds that they're doing. These are their average throughout the course. I hope that helps. And I do have the rules up. If you guys are interested, we could go through those and cover some of that stuff if you guys are up for it. I think it's pretty interesting myself. Let me see. Let's go ahead and bring this back up. Ah! The eternity. Okay, let's take first before I go there, let's take a look at the latest news. There is a new article in latest news on the Iron Dog page if you want to go check it out. And it talks about our leaders heading towards Kotzebue. It's a great article, worth the read. And also be sure to check out the Iron Dog group Facebook page as well as the Iron Dog Facebook page. So be sure to check out those 2 Facebook pages as well for your most current and up-to-date news. They have live feeds of the teams coming in and out of the checkpoints, all sorts of cool stuff. So be sure to check it out. And our rules. So we've got different rules for the pro class and the expedition class. We're going to take a look at the pro class rules for the 2023 Iron Dog. So let me set our race guide aside. And let's crack into this. All right, shall we? All right. So please read these rules in their entirety. And this is for the racers, so keep in mind. Registration began August 15th, 2022, and it ended October 31st, 2022. All of the revisions as of January 12th, 2023, have the changes are in yellow. Iron Dog Race Inc. is the headquarters is located at 7100 Old Seward Highway, Unit C, Anchorage, Alaska, 99518. Phone number is area code 907-563-4414. And their website is www.irondog.org. And the email for the director is director@irondog.org. All right. I am not, well, I'll go ahead and just start reading it all, I guess. So, no express or implied warranty of safety shall result from publication or of compliance with the rules and regulations in this publication. They are intended as a guide for the conduct of the sport and are in no way a guarantee against injury or death to spectators or participants. Iron Dog Race Inc. is dedicated to providing a reliable, consistent, safe, and honorable cross-country snowmobile race and recreational ride in Alaska. Pro Class is a team race consisting of 2 persons and 2 snowmobiles, track-driven and ski-steered. Expedition Class teams will consist of a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 4 persons, but each person must have their own snowmobile. These participants will brave sub-zero cold, bad visibility, and deep snow to push their snowmobiles and bodies to the limits to reach the finish line. It is the world's longest, toughest snowmobile race and is a true test of human and equipment endurance. All participants will treat race officials with respect. Each participant is required to read in its entirety these Iron Dog event rules and all registration documents, release forms, and waiver of liability. Upon entry, each applicant acknowledges receipt of the current Iron Dog event rules. Participants accept and agree to be bound by the terms and conditions of these Iron Dog rules and regulations. Each participant acknowledges that Iron Dog Race Inc. has limited resources and dependent on donors for a significant portion of its funding, functions with limited employed staff and hundreds of volunteers, must organize this event in some of the most remote and uninhabited locations in Alaska in often very severe weather conditions. Under these circumstances, Iron Dog Race Inc. cannot and does not commit to perform obligations or responsibilities of any kind. Iron Dog Race Inc. disclaims all obligations and responsibilities of every kind and nature. While Iron Dog Race Inc. will attempt to perform all tasks it undertakes with reasonable care and effort, as determined in its sole and absolute discretion, it shall owe no duty of any kind or nature to participants, and it shall perform only such acts as it deems necessary as its sole and absolute discretion. Participants shall have no claims, demands, suits, or claims of any kind or nature against Iron Dog Race Inc., its agents, servants, employees, directors, officers, contractors, volunteers, regardless of whether any such claim is in the nature of contract, tort, or other type of claim, and regardless of whether any such claim is for injury or damage to person or property. Each participant agrees, by participating in any Iron Dog Race Inc. event, to release, indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Iron Dog Race Inc., its agents, servants, employees, directors, officers, contractors, and volunteers from and against any and all claims, specifically including claims by third parties. The disclaimers, the limit on claims, and the agreement to release, indemnify, defend, and hold harmless set forth herein shall apply to every act and omission of Iron Dog Race Inc., its agents, servants, employees, directors, officers, contractors, and volunteers, including, by way of example only, acts and omissions in planning, organizing, facilitating, staging, conducting, and judging the race, and other Iron Dog Race Inc. events, and shall survive conclusion of the race and termination of the relationship between Iron Dog Race Inc. and participant. Each participant accepts and assumes all risks in any way arising from, related to, or connected with participation in any Iron Dog Race Inc. event, and each participant is encouraged to obtain and maintain appropriate insurance covering all such risks. All right, let me just pop over real quick and check in with everybody. Pyromedic, what is the farthest you have traveled by dog sled? The Iron Dog is not a dog sled race. It is a snow machine snowmobile race. But I have traveled by dog sled. I used to manage a dog team, and the most we traveled in a section was 40 miles. And that was just, I think that she was a junior sledder. We were just little girls back then. It just needed to say, you may die, enter at own risk. I know, right? Okay. Entry and registration. Participants, now keep in mind all this in yellow is changed and new. Participants, racers, and racer support crew must read and agree to the terms of these rules and sign a waiver of liability form. Race teams will find 6 liability waivers in their race packets. 4 will be labeled Start and can be exchanged for support crew passes for access to the paddock area at the start. 2 will be labeled Nome Garage and can be exchanged for support crew passes for Nome Garage work time. See page 9. Entry fees are set by the Iron Dog Racing Board of Directors. All required forms must be complete and submitted on or before the entry deadlines, including. No exceptions will be accepted for this requirement. And so these forms are also required along with their entry: the medical release, a liability waiver, an indemnity agreement, photo identification, current state-issued driver's license or passport. Archived racer bios will be updated by September 15th, 2022. In order to participate, racers must pass a physical exam by a certified medical physician. Commercial driver's license medical card will be accepted. Pilot's medical examination certificate will be accepted. Headshot digital color photos must be submitted with entry. If headshot does not meet the below specifications, it will not appear in the race program. It will show as not available. Solid background, headshot from the shoulders up, no sunglasses. Media rights and release. All racers are required to sign a media release form as part of their registration. All participants are required to be ISR, which stands for International Snowmobile Racing Inc. members, and they do abide by ISR rules. Unless approved by a ruling from the Iron Dog Race Inc. Board of Directors, no refunds of entry fees will be made after registration is closed. Refunds made during the registration period will be processed with a 20% processing fee. Maximum number of entries is limited to a total of 120 participants, including Pro Class and Expedition Class. Registrations will be limited to the number of participants who submit fully completed registration packets, including payment, prior to the close of business, 5 p.m. Alaska Standard Time, of the scheduled registration period. Team number reservations. Any team or prospective team may request a team number by calling the Iron Dog office or by indicating their top 3 choices on their registration form. First choice preference will be given to racers who held the same number in the previous year. All other reservations will be placed on a waiting list in a first come, first served basis. Participants must declare their class upon entry. Pro class teams compete for prize money and trophies. Expedition class participants ride for the adventure and recognition of completion. Pro class participants may opt to participate in expedition class at any time leading up to and during the race. Entry fees will not be refunded for class status changes after the close of registration. Substitutions and replacements of participating entrants are only allowed prior to the start of the race and only after proper paperwork and fees have been received and approved by Iron Dog Race Inc. prior to the drivers' meeting. If one team member is replaced, the team retains their starting position. If an entire team is replaced, the team will be moved to the last position in the starting order. During the event, each Pro Class racer must stay with their original teammate. A Pro Class racer may opt to join an existing Expedition Class team if their teammate is no longer participating. No participant under the age of 18 will be allowed to compete in the Pro Class without obtaining special approval from the Board of Directors. Iron Dog Race Inc. retains the right to refuse registration to any participant for any reason. Required attendance. All participants must attend certain events to maintain registration eligibility. Failure to comply may result in penalties, fees, or disqualification. All participants are required to attend the pre-race safety inspection and related public event with their race snowmobile. Participants are required to stay for the duration of the event or until excused by a member of the race marshal team. All pro class racers are required to attend scheduled racer meetings as required by the race marshal team. Top 5 finishing teams. Both racers from each of the top 5 finishing teams must attend the sponsor's reception and awards celebration. Prize monies and trophies will be paid on or after attending this event. Failure to attend this event will result in a 50% forfeiture of prize monies. Top 3 finishing teams. Both racers from each of the top 3 finishing teams will be expected to participate in Iron Dog Race Inc. marketing events throughout the following year. Rookie participants. All rookie participants are required to attend the rookie workshop or similar training event as approved by the race marshal team. All right, now we get into the general race rules. Snowmobiles not on the clock shall be impounded. Snowmobiles are impounded during all layovers, including hold time. Impounded snowmobiles are off limits to everyone except as provided below in Nome, Kotzebue, and Squentna southbound. Pro class racers may enter and exit snowmobile impound areas at the discretion of the checkpoint officials. No one else is allowed in the designated checkpoint snowmobile impound area. Pro class racers are prohibited from accepting parts, fuel, or oil from anyone except at designated Iron Dog checkpoints, with the following exception. Pro Class racers can accept parts, fuel, or oil from active Pro Class participants anywhere on the course. Riding the race course during layovers is prohibited. On or off the clock. Once the race has started, Pro Class racers will perform all fueling and work on the clock with the following hold location exceptions. Prior to being released from Nome, Racers will be allowed to fuel their snow machines before moving them to the designated starting line. Safety equipment, tools, and gear bags removed from a snowmobile at a checkpoint will be done on the clock, with the following exceptions. In Nome, racers will go off the clock after crossing a designated finish line and allowed to remove their safety equipment, tools, and gear bags while off the clock. While in Kotzebue and Squentna southbound, racers will be on hold and go off the clock after crossing a designated finish line. Racers will be allowed to remove their safety equipment, tools, and gear bags while off the clock. Prior to being released from the hold, racers will be allowed to pack their safety equipment, tools, gear bags, and start their snow machines. Note, fueling and any maintenance will be performed on the clock after being released. Repair or replace parts. Engine assemblies consisting of assembled crankcases, crankshafts, cylinders, rods, heads, and pistons, and rear suspension assemblies consisting of assembled torque arms, slide rails, shocks, and high-fax runners cannot be replaced in whole. These assemblies must be repaired with the individual components. The race marshal team will have a list of engine and chassis serial numbers and may compare the list with corresponding snowmobiles before, during, or after the race at the finish line. Do not obscure these numbers with graphics. Security decals will be applied to parts of the snowmobile. Pro Class participants will be able to replace these parts at designated checkpoints only. All damaged parts must be turned into the checkpoint official, where they will be logged in and reported to the race marshal team. CDI ECU module reprogramming and welding can be done by an outside source, non-racer, with the following provisions. All work required must be reported to the race marshal team or a checkpoint official prior to the repairs proceeding. The completion of repairs must be reported to the noted race officials prior to a team's departure. All participants are responsible for the removal of all their own parts, snowmobile, gears, snowmobile or beals, gear and/or supplies from the trail. All excess supplies, broken parts, and other materials belonging to a participant must be properly discarded. If a team is found to have deliberately left parts or supplies on the trail, a time penalty will be assessed. Alleged violations will be reviewed by the race marshal team in Nome for all northbound incidents and at the finish line for all southbound incidents. Identification. The Iron Dog will issue bibs. These bibs must be displayed in a highly visible area on the back of the participants' jackets and worn during active racing. Bibs will remain unaltered unless approved by the race marshal team. Team number decals shall be placed in the center of the snowmobile windshield as low as possible and as centered as possible, not to obstruct participants' vision. All sponsored items and logos furnished by Iron Dog must be displayed as required on the exterior of participating snowmobiles. Public relations. Iron Dog Race Inc. reserves the right to withdraw any participant for any reason. In no way whatsoever shall any participant, racer, volunteer, or race official represent negative publicity in any form to the media or the public. Pro Class racers that do not comply may result in sanctions, fines, or penalties. Iron Dog officials or its designee may record by photographing or videotaping any participant and their snowmobile and gear during the event at any time. Voluntary scratches must be declared by a participant at the nearest checkpoint within 2 hours of the decision. Failure to notify a race marshal checkpoint official, or race headquarters may result in sanctions, fines, or penalties. They don't want to hear it from Facebook. In order for an individual from a scratch team to leave the checkpoint and continue on to another location, he or she must do the following: inform the race marshal team of their decision to leave, an estimated time of departure, final destination, and estimated time of arrival. And 2, acknowledge in writing that no Iron Dog fuel, oil, or other checkpoint supplies will be used. Ow. General safety. Spinning of tracks with or without shields is prohibited inside the paddocks. Once in the paddock, the snowmobiles will be shut off. No fueling or oiling is permitted inside the paddock. The following race flags can be expected during the race: green flag, start; yellow flag, slow down and hold position; red flag, stop racing; checkered flag, finish. Pro Class starting procedures. Starting order of the Pro Class teams are determined by entry order and a lottery drawing using a mechanical or electronic device at the starting reception. Team entrants will have their team numbers placed in a lottery drawing and will depart in the order of the drawing. Qualifying for the lottery will be based on the last team member entered. Start. Participating teams line up in their starting position, order at the designated starting line at 8 a.m. on race day. Teams will depart in order starting at 10 a.m. Any teams not in their starting position by 8 a.m. may have the same number of minutes that they were late added to their official trail times. Start time adjustments will be assessed at each team's first layover location to compensate for the staggered start. All teams will be on the same race clock before leaving McGrath northbound. Nome halfway procedures. Whew. Nome layover for the Pro Class will be approximately 24 to 40 hours. All Pro Class teams must arrive in Nome by 11:59 p.m. on the 5th day of the race, Tuesday. The Nome restart is scheduled for the morning of the 6th day, Wednesday. Any Pro Class team that does not arrive at Nome within the required time limit finishes as an Expedition Class participant in Nome. All racers and officials in Nome are required to attend the Nome Halfway Banquet. A mandatory drivers' meeting will be held 15 minutes prior to the Nome Halfway Banquet. Pro Class snowmobiles will be placed in a heated impound area. Impounded snowmobiles must not leave the impound area unless directed to do so by a race marshal. Racers must not start or attempt to start impounded snowmobiles unless directed to do so by a race marshal. If a team has completed major engine work, they may be permitted to start their engine outside the garage prior to their scheduled start time. This is to verify that the engine is operating properly and there are no leaking fluids. They must schedule this with race marshals and have a race marshal present. Tools will be allowed and the test will be on the clock. The race marshals will post a schedule of times available for inspection. All teams will be allowed 15 minutes to inspect their snowmobiles off the clock. Any components removed from for the purpose of inspection must be replaced and the snowmobile will be left in the original impound condition. During the 15-minute inspection time, laptop or other computers may be connected to the snowmobile for diagnosing purposes only. The race marshals will post a schedule of times available for on-the-clock work time. Each team will be allowed to work on their snowmobiles on the clock. A race official will be present and work will be timed by the second. During the on-the-clock wrench time, laptop, and other computers may be connected to the snowmobiles for maintenance ECM purposes. No welding, grinding, sparks, or open flames of any kind allowed in the Nome impound area. Teams may elect to stop the clock for a break one time during their on-the-clock wrench time. If less than 60 minutes have passed, the team will be charged 60 minutes for the first session and a minimum of 15 minutes for the second. No third session will be allowed. Once time begins for the second session, time will accrue to completion. Race officials may authorize use of a support crew consisting of any two people for the purpose of assisting in the on-the-clock work session. The two racers and two support crew are the only people who may handle tools, parts, or assist during the on-the-clock gnome work time. Each support crew must sign a liability release to participate. Once this is done, substitutions will not be allowed. Both racers must accompany their support crew at all times during on-the-clock work. Whew. Gnome restart procedures. Teams 1 through 4 will be released on their actual split times, not to exceed 30 minutes. Teams 5 through 10 will be released on their actual trail split times, not to exceed 15 minutes. The remainder of the teams will be released on their actual trail split times, not to exceed 5 minutes. Release course times will reflect any known work times and adjustments. The Iron Dog race marshals maintain the right and authority to alter or modify the schedule for any reason or reasons deemed justifiable, such as impending weather conditions, safety, or other reasons that may arise. Pro Class Payback. If there are no qualified money finishers, the purse will be held in escrow for the following year's race. All purse and award payments will be determined following the official results and dispersed after race, satisfying any obligations required by federal, state, or local laws. Race marshals. The race officials charged with the conduct of the race will consist of a race marshal team of at least 3 persons. These officials will supervise the race start line, halfway layover, and the race finish line. These officials shall interpret and enforce these rules during the race. These officials will be noted hereafter as the race marshal team. The race marshal team will be recommended by the executive director and approved by the Iron Dog Race Inc. Board of Directors. The race marshal team shall be responsible for the conduct of the race. They shall have the authority to determine violations of these rules and enforce penalties. The race marshals shall present the executive director with a signed copy of the official race results by 5 p.m. Alaska Standard Time on the first Tuesday following the finish of the race. Race marshals shall not have a vested interest in the outcome of an event over which he or she officiates. That's a sticky one because there's a lot of sponsored teams in the race, and race marshals may be part of those teams, etc., have been part of those teams. So it gets a little sticky on what the vested interest is, like being a sponsor, etc. The race marshal team may cancel or alter the Iron Dog event for any reason for safety. A designated race marshal will be available throughout the race to collect and review protests, complaints, and or any evidence of misconduct. The race marshals have the authority to judge the racing abilities of competitors and take appropriate action to ensure the safety of the event. The race marshal shall have the authority to determine the structural integrity of a participant's snowmobile. The race marshal team may use any evidence from any person or persons that could aid them in determining if an infraction or violation has occurred. The race marshals have the right to eject any person or persons from the pit, paddock, or race course. If, in consultation with a medical professional, a race marshal determines that a participant has a medical and/or physical problem which poses a hazard to him or herself or others, race marshals may remove them from the competition or participation at any time. Race officials. Race officials are responsible for all aspects of the event not involving the enforcement of these rules. The checkpoints shall consist of volunteer checkers. These volunteers shall log in and out all participants passing through and on layovers, assist in fueling and oiling operations, review the snowmobile for working lights, windshield, throttle, brake, etc., tend to impounded snowmobiles, relay repair, layover scratches, and time tracking information to the appropriate officials. These volunteers will not interpret race rules, but will forward all witnessed race rule infractions and protests to a member of the race marshal team. Iron Dog headquarters shall consist of volunteers and staff. These volunteers shall receive timing data from the various checkpoints and input into the timing program for the website, coordinate rescue operations, record race details, including but not limited to supplies, penalties, relay information to the race marshals from the checkpoints as needed. These volunteers will not interpret race rules and will defer any rule-related questions to the race marshals. All official time will be recorded in hours, minutes, and seconds, utilizing Iron Dog supplied synchronized watches. Designated checkpoint volunteers shall record times utilizing an official timesheet supplied by Iron Dog. Disciplinary Committee. General. The disciplinary committee shall be made up of one race marshal chosen by the race marshal team, one concurrent board member chosen by the board of directors, and one previous Iron Dog race veteran not currently racing or in conflict of interest, chosen by popular vote of current year Iron Dog Pro Class racers. This election will be administered by the executive director prior to the beginning of the race. The disciplinary committee must be available 24 hours a day each day of the event to adjudicate upon an appeal lodged as a result of a protest to a race marshal decision. The disciplinary committee shall have the authority to pronounce the following penalties following an appeal hearing: warning, time penalties and adjustments, fine, a maximum of $500 per offense, disqualification, suspension, exclusion. The disciplinary committee shall have the authority to make rulings only after an appeal has been appropriately filed and the hearing taken place. The disciplinary committee shall process appeals in accordance with these rules. So how about we stop here for our race rules, and we will get back to that later on. We'll just kind of break it up because there's a lot there. There's 24 pages of rules, and it could be a little monotonous and tedious. So there you go. So there's your update so far, tubers and footers. Hope you're enjoying it. Yesterday was Missy and I's 22nd anniversary of our historic Iron Dog start. So that's pretty exciting. And we had to do it in 5 days. So a lot of things have changed with the Iron Dog over these years. As you can see, they no longer do it in 5 days. It's extended out quite some time. All right, tubers and footers, we will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you all. Thanks for making memories with me. Peace. Iron Dog are out. See you soon, tubers and footers.